All right, today's my second back day of the week. I'll do back, rear delts, and biceps. First exercise is reverse grip pull downs. Earlier in the week, I did overhand pull downs. Bar weight is 154. And there's also 14 pounds of chain. And I like to do, again, chest supported, to where it keeps the movement in the muscle and there's no momentum for it. So I see a lot of people will, put whatever weight on there and they'll yank the weight back. I think this is more effective. Not to say that the other one doesn't work. I just think this is better, personally. Next is close grip rows. 154 bar weight again, plus the chains. Oh man, felt those. Whew. See if we can get another 8 to 12 on this one. Man. I don't know if that was 8 or 9, but that was tough. Got 12 on the first set. Let's try to get 6 on this last one. Time for some single arm pull downs, unilateral work. This is 66 pounds bar weight. Whew. Try to get 5 on the last one. Chest supported dumbbell rows are next. And these are 100s. I was adjusting these for Sunday's workout, where the first exercise will be pause squats with 40 pounds of chain. And that'll be for working up to a top set of 5. Which I think I only have 1 or 2 weeks left of 5s on my heavy day. And then it'll drop down to triples. Which at that point in time I'll be 10 weeks out to the state meet that I'm doing in February. Next set I'll go for 6. Several people have asked me why the rep logic I use. And I mentioned a little bit the other day for recovery. And what I mean by that is I found if I go all out for 2 sets of 8 to 12, usually more reps on the first one than the second one, just because I'm going within 1, maybe 2 reps from failure. Actually 0 to 2 reps from failure. But if I do that, what I found, if I do that for first 2 sets, with a weight that I can get between 8 and 12, that on the third set, if I cut the rep range in half of what the first set was, I'm getting the volume, the extra little bit of volume, but I'm not completely going to failure like I did on the other two sets. And so it's a way of not overstressing my body, which makes it harder to recover. And like I've said, I train each muscle group twice a week. So that's every 3 days. So I need to be recovered. But yet, doing that half the reps of the first set allows me to get in a little bit more volume. It works really well. I suggest someone trying it for themselves. And the thing is say you get 12 on the first set, generally you don't get 12 on the second. And so you got 12 and then 9. And you go for that third set. Well, that's just a couple of reps away from what your second set was. So there's still a good stimulus in there. Next is rear delt flies. Each one of these is 30, I think it says 30 to 50 pounds of resistance depending on the stretch. Probably how I have them set up, it's probably closer to the 30 on each. On the first back day of the week, I did the rear delt movement with face pulls. After this next set, I have 2 bicep exercises, dumbbell preacher curl, and then low incline curl with dumbbells. Got 12 on the first set, go for 6. Something I would also say is you're going to see people do different sets and reps, different exercises. It's all going to be what anecdotally they feel is good, works for them, as well as just some like standard exercises that they think they should do. But at the end of the day, the sets of exercises and stuff that I do are the ones that I think are most effective for me. So it's not like anyone's training's necessarily right, wrong. But, and the same with the rep ranges. What it really comes down to is, are you eating right? Are you getting sufficient sleep? Are you, going within 1 to 2 reps of failure on most sets, which is a good, physical exertion that promotes stimulus. You're trying to use proper form. You're being controlled with the weight. I think it's recommended for the best hypertrophy to do each muscle group twice a week. And then lastly is consistency. And what I mean by consistency, it's not that you're ever going to not have a bad workout. It's not that you're never going to miss a workout. It could be because you're traveling or you're sick or something else has come up. And that's fine, it happens. But the more consistently you train, the better the result. If you come in here and you worked like me this week, say I came in here and I worked really hard this week, but then I didn't for several weeks, and then I come back and work, my results are going to be minimal compared to what they could have been. Not saying they won't be nothing, but it's going to be minimal to what it could have been. This is dumbbell preacher curl with 40s. And I've said this before, but on unilateral work, always start off with the weaker side and let that be the side that sets the pace for the other side. That is, one of the things that gets you the best benefit out of unilateral work is anything you have two of, muscle-wise, it's generally not the same size exactly and not the same strength. And so if you start with your weaker side and let it set the pace, then that allows that side to kind of catch up, and then you have smaller variances in the size and strength. You see, perfect example right there is the 8 on this side, basically all I had. Maybe could have squeezed half a rep, maybe 1 rep. But then on this side, I could have done an extra 1 rep, maybe 2 reps. And I'm doing unilateral work often, and there's still the gap. And being I got 12 and then 8, the last set will be for 6. And kind of like I was saying earlier, depending on the exercise, depending on the day, all those different factors, cutting that third set in half the reps of the first set is not necessarily easy. Because I bet 6 on this one will be about all I have. Man. I'm getting an all-around good pump today. Dumbbell low incline curls with 40s. Ooh. Ooh. It's going to be the day I'm doing something later and a bicep cramps. I think that was 9. Last 2 sets are going to be tough. But preacher curls are really tough on their own. And the bicep is a smaller muscle. So it makes sense that after doing preacher curls, that your next exercise is not going to be easy. And these are low dumbbell incline curls, which they're hard in their own right. Both of those exercises have a real big stretch. Let's see. Hey Google, what time is it?
5:39 a.m.
5:39. Making good time. Oh. 8. I got 9. Odd numbers, I usually try to go 1 rep above whatever the division is. So 9 would be 4.5, so I'll go for 5. And then we'll do crunches against a resistance band. This is just a cheap little step counter I carry around with me every day. I like to get 10,000 steps a day, but I kind of tell myself if I can at least get 8,000, that's an acceptable day, but the goal's always 10,000. Just as much as I pace around here in the garage while I'm working out, I've already got 114. Today's Friday. Tomorrow is my only day of the week that I don't lift weights. Like I said, I do every muscle group twice a week. So tomorrow's off day. And then Sunday will be my heavy leg day of the week, where it's going to be the pause squats against chains. For top set of 5. And on those pause squats, I'll be using the Mark Bell Raw sleeves. These little guys, they just keep your knees warm. They're not like your traditional sleeves that add a few pounds. Like I said, sleeves don't add a lot, but they will add a few pounds. Like these are your standard 7mm thick knee sleeves. They'll add, minimal pounds. And then these Pioneer here are your thicker heavy duty sleeves that most people use in competition today. And those will add a few more pounds. But I'd mentioned it maybe in another video, but right now I'm doing 5s, and so I'm going to use just the warmers, simply because I think that your higher rep ranges are for hypertrophy, and I like to have minimal assistance, even though, like I said, none of the sleeves add like tons of weight, but I like to have the minimal assistance because, one, I don't want to rely on it, and two, I just think overall you get a better raw strength build. Just my opinion. I don't know if anyone else shares that, but that's my opinion. It's always worked for me. But that is day 2 for back, rear delts, and biceps. And I'll be back on Sunday with heavy leg day, and we'll see what I can do for 5 on pause squats.